guys, I don't have one sweatpants, not one, but I really want one, like really bad. But every time in the store I try one on, it doesn't fit. And also I hate shopping, so I don't go that often. Now I wanted to make my own one for really long now, but I don't know, just never did. I never had the material, and then you know how it is.
So I went fabric shopping, since I had to drive near there anyways for the dentist. I found this fabric, which I really liked because it was nice and thick and cozy. I would have rather had a different color, but it was the only one I could find. And then I found this in color matching cuff material, which I also bought because I also might want to sew a sweater out of all this stuff. And then some rubber band for the waist and the ankles.
But now, I finally got some material that I actually quite like. So let's make a sweatpants and maybe some more, I don't know yet. First, you need a pants that doesn't stretch too much and fits good.
Find any piece of paper and tape it together until it is big enough for your pants. Then lay your pants flat and nicely onto your piece of paper and trace it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You have to trace one half of your back and one half of your front. Then cut it out, and while cutting it out, you can smooth the lines out a little more, since they're probably completely crooked from tracing the pants. Then cut your pieces in half. You have to do this because this pattern is of a fitted jeans that has an opening in the front. We don't have an opening, so it will have to fit around all our body parts. Then measure around your hip, since this is the broadest part your pants has to go over. Cut out a stripe and tape it to one half of your pants. Then divide your hip circumference by 4. Measure that from the one side of your pants to the other side. Then tape the other side in place. Now you still have some place in between with only the stripe. Then turn your pants around and do the same with your ankle part. It doesn't really matter how much you leave in between, just do as you like. I did a little less. Repeat that on the other half of your pants pattern. Now it's finally time to get your fabric. Make sure to turn your fabric inside out and lay it out really nice and flat. I pinned the lower edge together, so now I can be sure the fabric won't slip away. Now pin your pattern to the fabric. Just make sure to leave some space at the edge for the seam allowance. Then cut everything out with as much seam allowance as you like. Get rid of your pattern and store it in a shelf where it will probably stay for 2 or 3 years, until you find it and finally decide to throw it away. Rethread your overlock with some nice colors. Here I have a little trick I want to show you. First cut off the old thread and leave it there because you will need it. Then get your new thread and tie a knot that's really secure. Repeat that on all your threads. And now you can carefully pull them through, one by one. Sometimes you will have to help a little by opening the things that keeps the string nice and tight. By the way, if you don't have an overlock machine, you can just use your normal machine with a zigzag stitch. Sew together the front and the back in this seams. Opened up, they should look like this. Sew them together on the inside of the legs. And now to the pockets, in case you want some. I would really recommend them though. Place your hand on a piece of paper. Trace your hand until you have a pocket. It should kind of look like this, because your pocket should later be inside of your pants, kind of like this. Cut it out. Now pin it to your material. At the end you will have 4 pieces of this pattern, 2 that look to the left side and 2 that look to the right side. So cut your pocket out with some seam allowance. Then unpin your pattern, flip it around and pin it to your fabric again, since we only have 2 pocket pieces yet. Cut that out too. Now sew around like so. Turn your pocket around. Then lay it on top of your pants and sew down like this on only one layer. Now it should look like this. For the other layer, fold it down like this and take it from the inside and then sew down as far as you can, just not too far. Then it should look like this. Now you can turn your pocket back around, and if it doesn't look like this yet, I think you did something wrong. Repeat on the other side. Now we can finally finish our legs. Sew down like so. Just be careful with the pockets. Yay! Well, that looks weird. Now we still need the elastic thingy around our ankles. For that, measure how long. For that, measure exactly the length. For that, measure exactly how... Well, I don't know how to explain. Just do what I show. Now you have 2 pieces. Measure out with your elastic how broad they should be. They should be twice as wide as your elastic plus some seam allowance. Now put them together right side on right side and sew along the edge. Now you should have 2 tubes like this. Get your elastic and measure around your ankle. Make it as tight as you want. Just make sure it also goes over your foot. Of course you will need 2 of those, 1 for each ankle. Sew them together like so. Now pin the elastic to one edge evenly and sew the one edge to the elastic. You don't have to do this, but I found this easier. Now fold the fabric over the elastic and pin it down. Then pin that to your leg pins. Just put the elastic thingy on the outside, not like I did on the inside, because that was wrong and I had to cut it out again. After a lot of struggling, it should look like this. And it's not perfect, I know, but I kind of gave up because it's really fucking hard. Repeat that on the other side. Wow, that took like really long, but look how cute they look now. Now it's time for the waist part. For that, pin your pockets together. Then measure out your waist like so and multiply by 2 because you only measured half of your waist circumference. Unfold your fabric because you will only need 1 layer. Then measure your waist circumference and mark it. Don't forget to add some seam allowance though. Then measure your width by using the elastic again. Remember, it has to be twice the width of the elastic plus some seam allowance on each edge. Cut it out, fold it right side to right side and sew it together, just like the ankle parts. Once you have the tube, it's time for the elastic. Measure around your waist so it fits comfortably. Now you pretty much just do the exact same thing like with the ankle parts. Sew the elastic together like so. If you want to have a cord at your waist, measure out the front middle like so. With the elastic, measure out where the middle of the elastic will be at the end. You will need to sew 2 little buttonholes where your cord will go through. But if you're really lazy or just can't sew buttonholes, you can also just cut 2 little holes. It's just not as neat. Another option could be an eyelet. your elastic to the fabric and fold it over so it's inside. Now sew around the edge like so. While doing so, make sure to stretch the elastic so everything is nice and flat. Afterwards it will crunch back together, but that's exactly how we want it. Now for the second row, you will leave a little more space. Stretch the elastic again and sew all the way around. Make sure that your buttonholes are right in the middle of that. Now that's what it looks so far. A little weird, but don't worry, it will look fine. Make sure to pin your pockets in place. Pin them to the front. Then attach the waistband to your pants.
I don't know what I'm supposed to be.
We're almost there. Sew them together while stretching the elastic. I'ma tell you, that was a struggle because there were so many thick layers and that stretching and that my machine wouldn't cut off the material and stuff. I hope it works better for you because it was a pain. Also, my needle completely shattered, so I took a pause for 4 hours. And after my nerves calmed down a little, I could finally finish the last seam on this pants. Yay, cute! Now we only still need the cord. Haha, I'm really excited if you can't tell. I mean, it was quite a nerve-wracking project for me. I might just keep this on now because it's like really comfy. Oh, here you go. That's what I was looking for. Cut some holes through your buttonholes. It's probably easier when you're not wearing the pants though. Then pin your safety pin to your cord. And struggle it around all your waist. I don't know why I made my life so much harder and didn't just change back to my normal pants. But these were so comfy and I was so happy and lazy, so yeah, it was fun though. Stretch your pants out as wide as you can and then cut them to your desired length. And now to the final step, tie a knot into each end and you're finished.
I just feel like going to bed now. So comfy.
I just found that wasp nest. Ah, oh, it's just an old one. Also, I thought I could dance for you.
Why not? I go by the name of Wish Shalem. And more or less, you know what? Let's just get right to it then. Yeah.
Okay, you know what? That was a bad idea. But you know, in the beginning I said I had to go to the dentist, so here enjoy me at the dentist.
I go by the name of Wish Shalem. And more or less, you know what? Let's just get right to it then. Yeah.